Hello, hello. How's everybody doing? Happy Friday. Sounds like it's a long weekend for some. Can't complain about that. So today I think we are going to continue. Let's turn this music down just a tad. Today we're going to continue what we were doing, I guess, 2 weeks ago. I skipped the stream last week. It was one of those weeks. We were working with a 3D model. We found a 3D model off of, I always forget the name of it. There's a website that does 3D models. So it was a model made by the Smithsonian Museum that somebody then took and added a skeleton and actions to. We brought that into a web browser and we had something moving. So I think we're going to continue exploring that today. I've got it. Where does that come from? I don't know what's causing that. We got stuff showing last time, but the textures weren't working. So I think that's the thing that we're going to start working on right from the get go here. And I want to be able to work with the actual model actions directly. So we've got our model here. Here's the model. So this ends up being our model. I mean, we might be missing out on something here. Skin mesh might not quite be enough. But we had pulled in the actions, and we had created this using GLTF to JSX, which creates this big grouped deal thing. And I mean, looking at their examples, it's pretty clear it's dependent on how the model is, like how that model's created. So if we continue down this route playing with it, we can make our own model or take an existing model and modify it and give us a little bit of better output. A little bit more control through our JSX of our model itself. But this gives us a way to using their loader. We can pull in the GLTF file, and then we can interact with it through our JSX. And this is kind of like selectors, I guess, in GLTF. Maybe might be how I'm thinking about it. So let's go ahead and we haven't actually committed much from last time. We might want to start thinking about doing that, but let's go ahead and start things up here. We have a little front end, React, and the bundler is Parcel. So you can see that showing up in our list of scripts. We got the service role in here. Go ahead and just make this a little bit bigger. So there's our model. And it's not moving, and it doesn't have textures, and this window is really small. Speaking of things that are slightly off, I think this is just a tad bright. Is that better? I guess it's better. So we I think first thing let's see if we can get this window a little bit bigger, and then I don't know if we're gonna be able to, but I imagine we can probably bring in the textures. Canvas. So we get a canvas with this pretty small height. I don't know what is determining that height. There might be something in here. We are, you might see in the my Visual Studio Code title. This is called Stream Overlay. So I'd like to kind of replace some of these surrounding elements with a custom stream overlay. So we don't have to really worry about being responsive because we know the size that we need our like our frame or window to be. So I think those constraints are going to help us out here. So looking at the React Fiber 3 docs, they have, yes, a doc page. So if we look at the canvas, do we have a way, cameras, resize is kind of interesting. Pixel ratio. I'm not seeing any like canvas size though. The canvas is hard coded though. Right. Style block with here. It's also in the style. Yeah. So I mean, it's definitely hard coded. And we did throw in the widgets, so we've got we probably have to hook it up, but we've got some of the translation things that we can, the orbital things that we can play around with. So what is setting that style? Our CSS here isn't. Um, I don't really see anything that's setting it, so I wonder if it's just how is it calculating that? Hmm. So there's a mesh element within the canvas. We don't have frame. Frame is playing canvas. Um, Groups, props. I mean, I'm not seeing anything that would specifically set the size. So, what is doing it? I mean, I don't think it's the camera. The camera is like within the canvas. Raycaster, render, resize, config C, React to use measures options. Kind of wish they would link to it. React to use. If you have not looked at React to use, it's a very large library of React hooks, of which it seems they're using the measure hook. It's pretty extensive. They've got some real nice ones in here. Fortunately, it's not loading. Oh. Oh no. Okay, I guess we'll say we'll look at the markdown. Use measure. So this is specifically to, okay, so it's more using the resize observer. So we can change things based on changes like in the container or things like scroll. Pixel ratio. Handle resize. Oh, that's a size. Create root. So this is specifically in the custom canvas. They have a create root, which you can use in place of the React DOM stuff, which is nice. I think it's pretty cool. But I don't think that's applicable because that's actually setting the size of the root container. I wonder if, so our model uses, do we even pull in this style CSS? No. I wonder, yeah, because we're using that to set it to hot pink, and it's not. So we're not even pulling in this. So let's do import styles.css. Okay, Parcel, you're gonna need to remind me how we do CSS. Um, includes support for CSS out of the box. Oh, failed to resolve. So this is not using modules. It's global. So I think I'm actually gonna like rename this. I'm gonna call this global. And then I think we're going to also use the module syntax. CSS modules. I think that's probably fun. So we'll do a model dot. No, it's on the canvas. So let's do a frame dot module dot CSS. Now on our frame, we can do this. And we want to import from frame.module.css, and we want to import classes. And within here, we're going to say canvas. And that would be, yeah, I think that's it. Do not use empty rule sets. That's fine. We want to set the canvas height to 100%. And then we can do, now are we setting the style? Document.body.className. So that CSS modules gives us the class. So we can do class equals classes.canvas. Don't have any errors yet. Let's see what we got. So we got the global coming in, and hey, there we go. So setting the canvas, or giving it a prop. I guess it's just the CSS. Yeah, so we're getting a height. I guess it's not quite. Oh, we say VH, but it's not actually the VH. We do need a reset as well. So let's do body margin. And we are going to take out our H1 because we don't really care about that at the moment. And that should give us a full frame. There you go. Okay. So we've got the dino full frame. Pretty sweet. Now textures. How do we do the textures? So within our model, I think I just dropped it in the dist. Where's our parcel our parcel config? So we're just pointing to main or index.js. That's not right. I guess it's making the assumption because we don't have it defined. Okay, so I think I'm gonna do a folder called so we've got assets. They don't need to go through the bundler, they just need to be copied. So when parcel runs, it does its build step and drops everything to dist. The dist directory is what when you go to publish your website, that's what you're putting on your host. So as a stopgap for the moment, I had just dropped an assets folder in the dist directory. That's not going to scale. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it into the src directory, and we need to figure out how to deal with those static assets within Parcel. I mean, it's kind of in the same vein of image. Oh, it's actually got specific image stuff. That's kind of handy. So I think kind of what it's doing is if you reference the static assets at all, I think it's just copying it over, honestly. Yeah. Um, let's open. Let's just copy it over this way. VS Code sometimes gets grumpy on Windows. Oh, I suppose it might be actually the parcel server might be holding on to it too. Go ahead, cancel, please. There we go. Now we gotta wait for my terminal to catch up. So that's just a relative reference right now. And then within our, we are importing scene.gltf. Within our scene.gltf, there's also a bin. I'm not sure what the bin does. But we've also have this. Oh, okay, fine. We also have this textures folder. So I'm presuming what's happening is within our GLTF file, we are referencing textures. And that is also relative. But I think since that file is the one pulling them in, we need to reference them relative to scene.gltf. And I'm hoping that's all that we need to do. There we go. Whew. Struggling there. Non-relative URI found. So is it? I don't know what it's expecting for the relative. And I think that's the only one that we're going to need to change. Such a big file, 63,000. Yeah, that's no joke. So we've got, okay, textures. All right, so it's not complaining now. Start our server back up. Cross our fingers that that's working now. Give it a reload. Let it reconnect. Still not helping us out. Invalid DOM property class. Did you mean class name? Yes, I did actually mean class name. Thank you very much. Within within React particularly, but the JSX in React expects you to use the property class name. But if you use some alternatives to React, like Preact, you can actually just use class. So I always I forget about that. Okay, can I load texture? And it's looking at assets textures default base. So let's make sure that, see, we don't have any assets right now. But it might not actually be updating that folder. I'm not certain. Let us double check that. So CSS, I'm presuming it's sort of a similar situation. Within the CSS, you can like point to a file. I think what it's doing though is running through the CSS and dealing with that. So, let's run a build just to see what a directory looks like. I'm guessing it's not actually getting copied over because have we not run a build yet? Parcel build. Oh, yeah, that's where I'm. Yeah, okay. That's where I'm specifying it. Does not export canvas. Oh, yeah, CSS modules. Do you have to do anything? Oh. Okay, so it's only enabled for that. I'm fine with that. Browser targets, vendor prefixing. Oh, I know. It's expecting classes. That's got to be what it is. It's interesting that worked, though. Okay. I thought that was kind of curious. Target main. So main should. I don't remember how they do this. Bundle targets. Code splitting development. Web app. Source, I guess. Looks like it. So Parcel could do with a few things as far as bundling goes. One of which is web apps. Another of which is libraries. When you are doing a library, it uses the expectation from the common JS. I don't know. Whoa. What do you qualify common JS as? Module resolution strategy in Node. So there's in Node there's CommonJS, and more recently there's ESM, which stands for ECMAScript modules. It's one of those acronyms you don't have to don't see written out too much. So ESM, the big difference between them, CommonJS is synchronous, ESM is asynchronous. And the ecosystem is sort of switching, but that is very hard to do in a compatible way. So part of how they're recognizing that, but also making it easier to support other targets other than like Node.js targets. There's also fields that are added, one of which is exports, and browser I think is another. I haven't actually seen the source before. So like here you can see. I guess they just say ES modules. It's got to be ECMAScript, right? So there's a bunch of different things you can specify, and Parcel tends to hook into that to determine what thing it is building. So we're going to tell it to use source because this is specifically a browser target, and fingers crossed that does this thing. So build is doing a release build, so you're getting the hashes. It's running a little bit slower than I expected to. All right, so we don't have any assets. Let's format, sure. It's pulling in a module script and it's pulling in the style sheet. So we're getting our style sheet. Our style sheet then I think some of these might be old. Okay, so this is the module. This has got to be. But we're not getting our GLTF. And we're not getting our GLTF, and we're not getting any of our other assets in there. So I don't know if the best way to deal with this is. I wonder if there's a plugin for this. I wonder if somebody dealt with. I presume somebody has dealt with this before. The question is, has it bothered somebody enough to actually make a full plugin for it? I want to see a list of plugins. Is there an ecosystem? I don't see any. Plugins. Plugin search. Here. GLTF. Oh. I can't just do all of them. So let's see. Put assets into subdirectory. All right. Parcel. What should we search for? Parcel GLTF. And how old is this? May 19th? I can't remember if that's going to be the newer one or not. So simply copy to my dist folder. Well, okay. So it's using Babylon.js. Don't forget to update the path here. So it's doing a new URL. Reporters static copy. Okay, so maybe the static copy is the way to go. I kind of wish you could just do all, because I don't know what it's considered. Files only copied if they are newer and only at the end of each build. No watcher included. V2 plugin. Name of the directory to be copied. Okay, so this might work. No matter if normal build or if serving. So I think this will be fine. I don't know if we actually need that bin, but we'll find out. I guess this is a dev dependency, isn't it? So go ahead and add that. So we do I think we could just do this basically then. Dependencies, where should I put this? Guess I'll put it up there. We need to copy src assets. Now if we run a build, let's see what we get. So if this is doing what I'm expecting it to do, we'll get a new folder in here called assets, and it's just going to be effectively a straight copy. And we got nothing. Oh, add the plugin to Parceljs. I don't think I've got a Parceljs yet. I do not. So let's make a Parceljs. What is our debugging? There. Okay, that's not what I want. I want to know what these are all like specific plugins. I think there's more than one format. Config. Shared configuration. So we can do it in parcel extends parcel index.json. I guess it's just .parceljs. Okay. Okay, let's try that again. So it's pulling the config from package.json, but we also need to. Oh. Okay, so it copied everything in assets. All right. So we want static path, and there should be it's like static out path or something. I think it was. I want assets to actually put assets when we get it copied over. So Parcel, when it runs, it doesn't seem to clear the dist directory. So I think we're going to get another folder in here called assets. And I'm running a build because that's the only way for it to actually do the copy over. But I think once it's copied over, we can run the start and our server should then be able to hit it. It's taking a while to load. It's interesting. Still trying. Interesting. Chrome error. So what's it doing? So the textures are images. We're going to rename that to like specifically get it to error out, and I want to see if it's trying to load those and it's just too much. No, it's not even. Weird. Okay, so what's the deal? So that's those assets. Let's try restarting the server. Kind of seems like it's choking on it. It's curious that I'm not actually getting much as far as errors go. Curious. Okay. Cancel. Cancel this. Of course, you're not going to do it now. I'm going to just scrub the whole dist directory just to give us the first starting point. We don't know. Come on. Come on. There we go. I go. Let's do remove the dist. Thank you. Let's run a start. So I'm pretty sure the start isn't going to actually copy it over. Because I think the reporter only, oh, it did. It did. Okay. Failed. Okay. Um, let's, um, let's walk it back a little bit. We're going to take out the model for the moment. To rebuild. Did rebuild. Curious. Um, great. It's not gonna like the street name. Um, I'm not sure what's happening. It seems like it's crashing the server almost. I wonder how big that. I mean, it's probably a pretty big file, eh? Um, not even that big. Scene.bin. I don't know what the scene.bin does. That's a question mark for me. And I kind of feel like I don't need that, but I don't want to just delete it if we actually do need it. But I don't know that anything's actually. Okay. I don't know that anything is actually using it. Oh, buffers. I guess it is. No such file or directory. So is that what it's actually expecting? Not PNG. I mean, I think. Um. Okay. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna copy this. We're gonna save it in the root just so we can have a backup. Paste. Um, and I am going to go in here. I'm gonna remove these and just do the images. Like I just want these images to come over. Yes. That's makes me laugh. So this probably this model might have an issue. We'll see what it does. Oop, I don't need to do anything with that. Let's close everything. So now we should only be getting images that get copied over, and we should be able to visit those. When we start the server, assuming it all starts correctly, we should get this back up. That's effectively empty. What did we break? So I guess it's not actually that. Huh. I wonder if there's something here. Because they did have a note. Dot dot dot. It's not a placeholder. It's used to extend the default list. It's possible that we need to. I mean, oh, oh, I completely misread that. So what this is doing is actually saying, hey, we want to pull the reporters from our default config. And I was misreading that. And I bet you that is our issue. Because we're basically blitzing our list of, let's restart the server just in case. We're blitzing our list of reporters. I think that's what's happening. There we go. There we go. Okay. All is well. So now we should have images. Let's whoop, slash assets slash GLTF slash however that gets spelled Triceratops. I don't know if the routing is actually gonna work on this textures because I think it's doing spot routing. Okay, so we got pictures. That's working. Let's pull our model back in here. Okay, we have our model. Hey Ryan, how you doing? Okay, we have our model and our textures. So let's undo this. Still not sure on the URL that we need to use, or the path, I guess. And we need to undo this. Did I close it? Yes, I did. Okay. We have, however, lost our CSS. Classes.canvas, global CSS. Gonna load textures. So I'm gonna presume that we actually need to have it be like this. Still couldn't load textures. I mean, we're getting the model. Oh, it's still saving. This file's so dang big. And I've got prettier set up to expect to format it. I guess I can just stop doing that for right now. Do save. It's very insistent on running, isn't it? I guess we'll give it a second. Okay. Curious. Non-relative URI found. I don't know that I trust VS Code to be giving me the right answer here. Our music stopped. Let's fix that. There we go. It doesn't actually seem like Parceljs rebuilding though. So I'm gonna go ahead and just save in here. Prettier, you're killing me. So this is, there we go. Now it redid it. Couldn't load texture. And we oh, it's expecting it to be in a GLTF folder. Okay. No. It's relative to that. So it's trying to load it from assets, textures, that. I don't know what's determining that. Is there assets? No. So if scene is loading this, I wonder why assets is in. That is interesting. I don't understand why assets is being included, but GLTF is not. So I feel like something is funky is going on there, but let's just try this and see what happens. So if this is copied over, it is. I wonder if it's something with this loader. Oh, because it's also. Oh, I'm also like changing it in. Okay. I've got two. That explains why it's not actually changing. So we want to change the one on SRC. It should be relative to that. It is sticking on the /assets directory. It still doesn't quite make sense to me. but perhaps the relative reference here is going to deal with that. I wonder what this buffers is. Buffer views, Sketchfab. I wonder if the buffers is the thing that dictates the actions. I'm not sure. And if Prettier would stop thinking, start doing. Golly. All right. Save. I want to say it's got to be this assets GLTF. Yeah. Yeah, it's really struggling. Why are we having such an issue here? Prettier. It seems to really struggle with big files like that. And then it just bogs everything else down. So once I get this set, I'm actually going to restart VS Code, I think. I think that'll help with this. But for the moment, I'm going to deal. Go ahead. You can do it. You can save. Stop thinking. Here we go. Rebuild. Couldn't load texture from assets textures. So I'm definitely not certain what. Like, why is GLTF slash tricer slash textures? I'm definitely not certain why this is not working. So we are going to do it more directly rather than a relative. And we also need to check. So there's the two cases that we need to deal with too. There's running it in dev mode and seeing it in dev. That doesn't necessarily always translate over to the build files. So we will need to double check that, but for the most part, we are concerned about dev right now. Let's get a refresh. Couldn't load texture. We are editing that, yes. So there must be something within the use GLTF. Is it couldn't load texture from assets textures? Okay. Loading textures. Oh, there's a texture loader. Interesting. Using use texture, texture loader, and use loader. So we can do a use texture map, normal map. I'm not sure what and how that translates to textures here. Wherever you want. Here. images. To load the textures, we use texture loader. So this is for meshes directly. So this would be applying. So that would give us, if we use the texture loader via use loader, that's based off of 3. There's also use texture, which comes from, okay. So that gives us use texture, and then we can apply it to our mesh. So the question is, I still don't understand why this is the URI of an image relative parser relative to the current GLTF asset. Oh, okay. So it's relative to the asset. So does that mean we need to be doing something like this? So if URIs are relative to that, it's getting dropped into assets GLTF triceratops scene. Our model is pulling it in, but everything should still theoretically be relative to that. Yeah, see, like, I don't think that's actually a valid error. But it still seems to not be loading from that directory. So it's trying to, it's putting that assets in there somehow. Partly from the use GLTF. Where's the use GLTF loader come from? We should check the docs on that. Use GLTF comes from dry. So dry is a set of helpers. Okay, good. It loaded. That sits on top of views. Is there any docs? I guess it's all here. So use GLTF or use. I don't think that's what we want. Problem is a bunch of other examples are using this. But it looks like it's pointing to a URL. So I wonder if my relative link here is giving us issues. Nope. A convenience hook that uses useLoader and GLTF loader. It defaults to CDN loaded Draco binaries, which are only loaded for compressed models. Whoop. We want that. GLTF loader only shows up once. So GFTL loader is an extension on top of three.js, it looks like. Okay. The loader, new loader, load. So it's using a URL without the /. And we're still getting it, can't load textures from that. So I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to, I mean, it says it's relative to that. I don't know that we need this. If this is all relative, the URLs and paths are just different enough to like give me issues. All right, did you actually save this time? Great. I'm pretty just running twice. Come on. Save a little bit quicker, that would be most appreciated. You almost got it. See you doing things. Wow. Suppose we should have picked a simpler asset. Textures. So we don't have color information. We've got an actual image. Linear color. Automatically configured textures. Reference from GLTF. When loading textures externally. Okay. Supposedly it should just work. Still can't get it. All right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna say, we're gonna do that. We're going to do that, and we're going to do assets /gltf /triceratops /textures. And we will see if any of them work. And I still don't know if there's a difference between this, but we will run them both. I'm just gonna keep canceling you. Okay, it does actually restart then. All right, so base color. None of them actually work. What? Are we referencing texture somewhere else? Or is there a different URI? Let's see if there's a different URI. There's 4. We only have. I mean, like I think that's right. GLTF bundling with Parcel. So it's a URL. I mean, I think this basically can work. But this would actually like copy it over for us, which would be handy if we could put it all within that. But I don't know that that's the case here. Yeah. So that didn't actually find it. Oh my gosh. Just stop trying to run. We'll just do save without formatting. Okay. Doesn't seem like that's actually working. I'm surprised. Okay. No bueno. Cannot load texture. So I don't know that. And like that's the only place that is actually referenced either too. Base color. So I just don't understand. So we didn't install this plugin last time. Let's do this. Let's get that parcel cache in there. I think that's taxing my VS Code instance. So let's try using the viewer. See if, as far as the viewer is concerned, if we have it set up correctly. Unable to load. Okay, fine. Unable to load. Oh, hey, there we go. Okay. So if I do this, oh boy. Okay. Is it gonna look any different? Maybe. So it seems like as far as the GLTF is concerned, we have the right pass. So it's specifically just this that is giving us issues. Okay. First of all, why is this not working? Classes.canvas .canvas. So we're setting the height. We had you working before. Okay, so it's setting it on the div. I wonder if it's just like not documented height. Or at least just not listed anywhere. Canvas. Yeah, because so when we're doing it, it's doing it on the div. I don't suppose we can actually do it on the group. Model props. Like I don't see a way to do it on or model specifically. But we had it working. This is a lot harder than I expected it to be. So we got a height, we got a width. So that's definitely not doing anything there. Let's try it on our canvas. It's giving us something there. But everything is showing up on the div. So if we do the class name equals classes dot canvas. So why did that work before? um, we want to apply this to class. I guess that's anything. Let's see if I can do my selector as well. Yeah, anything that has a class canvas with an element within it called that. Okay. And that adjusts our height. Okay, cool. That seemed to work fine. And it is changing OS. Okay, cool. So we fixed that again. Now back to these. So like it's doing the fetch. The fetch is here. We see it. But for whatever reason, three.js is just struggling to load it. So what we are going to try is texture, use texture. And it appears to be applying it directly to the mesh. Skinned mesh comes from shrug. Materials.default. Materials come from use GLTF. So use GLTF. It doesn't look like it's accepting anything other than URL. A convenience hook that uses use loader. Nodes. Use G material. Interesting. Okay. So this is some Expo issue, React Native. Can't get nodes, materials. Use progress, use GLTF. So what is console.log materials? Are we actually getting output there? We are getting default. Default comes in with a whole bunch of stuff. Does it have... I mean, it looks like it's pulling it in. Is there an images? So we're still struggling here. I think we're getting I think that's fine. I think that's right. We've got our canvas, frame, model. It's got to be within here. So if it is doing it in the assets folder, why would it be looking in assets specifically? GLTF loader couldn't load texture. Nope. That's not what I wanted. I hit the wrong control copy. Couldn't load textures. Couldn't load textures. Is that textures? Load undefined, error callback. Okay, so when they look at the GLTF viewer, current SRC. So material map. If we look at this default, we've got a normal scale, user data, which is empty, map is null. Let's try. Let's try the GLTF viewer. So assets, we will give it the whole folder. Works just dandy. So I think like our references are fine. Looks like it's walking funny. Looks like it has a limp. Interesting. So I think that's fine. So I think it's something with the GLTF loader. GLTF loader. Texture images. It won't load in the browser. Okay, I mean, how is it doing the pass? Like I feel like I'm missing something in the docs here. Image loader. Loader for loading an image. Used internally by texture loader. So we can load a texture. Dry GLTF loader image texture. So it's included. All right, makes sense. So I mean, I might need to do this. This is good to know. But I'm actually getting an error. And so it's definitely hitting the wrong URL. So it's got to be something with how it's doing the URL. I wonder if it is Parcel caching some of this. Okay. we're going to stop this. We are going to remove the dist. We're going to remove the parcel cache. It's possible that it's not actually rendering and grabbing that, and it's using something from the cache. Because it seems like no matter what I do, the URL is not changing, which doesn't feel right. If I give it a bad URL, I should be getting a different error. But it seems to just stay the same. Okay, so I'm still not getting a map. I don't know that that's wrong. But I don't see anything else that is specifically referring to an image. So I don't know that the what I'm expecting to see in materials is there. Animations. Animations. Okay, so we do get animations. Good. They seem reasonable with names. So we've got let's just get rid of this folder. Scene bin. I'm also going to copy the license over. It's good to keep that with it. I'm going to get rid of this just in case. We rerolled our cache in our dist. So the only place we should be referencing it is in CNET GLTF. Now, if we straight up just take out the image reference, I don't know if it'll. I did the prettier thing. Just save. So it should not even be trying to load them right now. But it is still trying to load them. Whoa. Okay, VS Code. Calm down. Yes, just get rid of that directory. The file operations on VS Code and Windows lately have just been awful. I think I'm going to end up, when I get some free time here, okay. When I get some free time here, I think I'm going to end up using WSL in a greater way. So let's search for texture. I just want to make sure it's not like showing up anywhere else. Like we don't have any other references to it, right? So this should be the only reference. And of course it doesn't really like that. I don't know if this will actually let me ignore the. I think it's still going to try to resolve these URIs. Oh, pretty early, yes. I do actually want you to run this time. Unfortunately. Yeah, it's just odd because it's not changing those references at all. So like even if I take them out, I'm not getting an error or anything. So it has to be doing some caching somehow, somewhere. Because I think my paths are right as far as the GLFT is concerned. Okay, all right, really? Colon expected. All right. Oh my gosh. It is just trucking on this. Okay. Yeah, I literally can't get rid of this. Okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just back this up and delete these. I think it was like this, maybe. Go ahead and copy you to the root. And let's get rid of you and save. So now we should literally have no reference to the pictures whatsoever. So if like this is, if that's how it's pulling it in, it is still trying to pull it in. So let's shut the server down. Let's do remove the cache, remove the dist. I bet you, so it's possible it's not watching. So when I run that, it might just copy it over the one time. Let's do dist. Now start. Let it rebuild everything. It still can't find it. What? All right. Well, how are you doing this? Or do you still have it in here somewhere? It's not in there at all. So is it doing some? Like, is it just trying to dynamically load these? Stop the server. We're going to remove this. We're going to remove this. It's possible there's something in the bin that I can't see. Um, what the heck? This is entirely baffling to me. I do not understand how it's just stuck on this reference. Like I don't know what else could actually be pulling it in. So scene. Let's get rid of the bin. Stop and start. I was not expecting this to take this long. I do want to try to get this working before I stop the stream here, before we finish for the day. But this is. Where are you coming from? Just 100% baffled. Okay, so we only have scene. Scene is image. URI. Let's just get rid of you. So there's literally no other URIs in here. Oh no. I don't want Prettier to deal with this. Just save. Yeah, I've seen that been as yes, I know. Delete all the caches. So now we literally only have that one thing. Oh, I do want to move that into the root. So I've got textures in the root. I've got CNEP in, and yeah, let's just do. I am specifically naming the folder something different just to make sure that I'm not like it's not doing something fancy behind the scenes. And I guess at this point I've basically recreated that folder, right? Might as well put that in there so I could just swap them. Okay. I should literally have nothing in here. Image. Nothing as far as that goes. Texture. I should have no sources. So like we should be good. All right. Let's try it again. It's gonna run. It's gonna copy stuff over into the dist. It creates a parcel cache. Dist has assets, which just has the GLTF. We restart, and it is still trying to load it. That is just bonkers. What? I don't understand how it's possibly getting any of that. There's got to be some texture loading thing that I'm just completely unaware of. I don't know what else could possibly be doing this. Like it's not showing up. Not showing up in anything. I'm baffled. What is loading it? Um, assets, GLTF, base color. Where are you coming from? Are you not actually like deleting your cache? It's not there. Okay. We are going to do it through this. I wonder if VS, like the only thing I can think of as VS Code is just doing like a trash. And it's not actually deleting it, and we just can't see it then. ls.la. We've got a git ignore, a zip. Okay. Let's empty the recycle bin. Like, I want to make sure this is gone. Okay. I mean, I'm not getting any. Yeah. Okay. So it's not there anymore. Let's start the server. It's not there anymore. Go ahead and stop. I think it was doing some like hard caching or something. That is painful. Okay. So let's start this again. It's built. We don't have anything there. First of all, it's kind of weird. Well, I mean, I guess it's doing this power routing thing. Where's that coming from? We might just need to like. I'm kind of speechless. I'm not gonna lie. Let's try a different model. Lovely name that I used. This was one that we had done in Blender. We were experimenting with. Ooh. Well, that's lovely. So it doesn't like that model. That's an assets. Definitely doesn't like that model. Oh, I mean that's an actual like GLTF. So like there's probably some. It's trying to match this stuff up. And that's where we're getting issues. So I guess that probably makes sense. I have no idea. Like why would it? Okay, like if I just give it straight up the wrong URL or something. It's gonna fail, right? Could not load. Okay, so assets/GLTF. How smart is it about this URL? So like it is still loading it despite like no matter what reference I give it, it's still loading it and it's still trying to load textures from the assets folder. We can do, oh, I shouldn't have canceled it. If I switch this to something else, I want to see if it, file operation, I might not be happy about that. I want to see if it actually is like a hard coded. I mean, it's got well, it can't be a hard coded assets folder. Um, I don't have anything going on with this other. Oh, gosh, I don't really want to wait. I think it's kind of one of those days. I think it's kind of one of those days. We got like one thing done. Stop. Um, let's try just loading it in here for. Giggles. So this is without, should still have the reference to it. Basically trying to figure out like what is doing. It cannot, it's not terribly helpful. Um, it's trying to load that texture. I mean, at least it's looking in. Like that seems to be the right pathing and what have you. Yeah. And I don't think I can give this a folder. So like this is expecting the image to be or the textures to be like embedded within it. Okay. Um well, okay, so it didn't actually rename that. Let's just do it via main windows. There we go. It's renamed. Let's start the server. Did y'all see that? I renamed this. Is it symlinking? Can I do, let's see, dist assets to GLTF, Triceratops. File. Created accessed. I don't remember. What's the command to list symlink? No. I mean, I guess fine. In order to follow symbolic links, you must specify ls.l. Whoop. um, I mean, right? ls.la. Whoop. Let's try to bash. So this is I was using new shell there. That is an interesting format. Yes, that is new shell. It's a slightly older version. I haven't updated yet because I have scripts that are still using the older version that I have yet to migrate. But it is using this. Also, thanks for stopping by. So it's a completely different shell. So now I've switched over to Bash. So you'll see that probably looks more like you might expect. Just thanks for the follow. Super emotes official. All right. I thought that would tell me. I know Windows does symbolic link stuff funny, but I feel like there's some symbolic link thing going on here. Now, if we do, because if we're renaming this and it is switching in my dist, it's got to be a symbolic link. I'm editing on this side in the Windows UI. Okay. Wow, I am just so confused right now. Assets. Okay, so maybe it's not. Did I have this? I might have had the thing running. Okay. RMRF dist busy still. What? What are you doing there? You're busy. Oh. Did I have the folder open still? All right, fine, whatever. Dot parcel cache. Go away. VS Code, let go. Oh, it's not VS Code. It's this terminal window. I'm sorry, VS Code, for yelling at you, even though you're usually the issue. All right. We should have no reference to this. To the textures. Oh, I can export to a binary. That's interesting. I might actually do that. npm run start. Okay. Loaded. Where is it getting this reference from? What? In the what? I am completely baffled. Where are you? There should literally be no way you can. I mean, is it in textures, assets textures? Like, I don't even. So if I rename this to assets 2 again, it's still getting it, despite me not updating it here. So like, this isn't even pointing to the right thing. So like, this GLTF thing is doing something, I think. Like, it's the only thing I could think of. So like, if we pointed it to this, no such file. Good. I'll put it to assets 2. It is doing something that I do not fully understand. Because there should literally be no reference to. Okay. Okay, we're getting a different. Could not load. Can load it. Okay. We've got a different error. And this feels like something changed. Something is seriously caching it hard. Or something of this sort. Could not load that. Cannot read properties undefined. So we definitely have a different error now. So that's good. So now if I did, if I copy this back over, Oh no. VS Code, you are just struggling with file operations. Which makes it all the more frustrating. I'm gonna stop server just in case. I'm gonna just like rename all of this. I'm gonna delete that. I'm gonna rename this. We're gonna call it scene 2. Because this seems to be like the only way I can break this dang cache. And now in here, there should be the image URI reference. We are gonna like just have some goofy URI in here that hopefully will give us a different error message. Start up the server again. So there's definitely some caching somehow that even when I'm removing parcel cache and dist, it's just sticking around. There we go. So now we have actually reasonable. Oh boy. Well, I mean, not reasonable, but like this is, I could literally not get that URL to change. So something was like hard caching this. Triceratops. So I kind of wonder if like, well, actually I should try this. Because I think that's what it should be. Oh, crap. No, just save. Save without formatting. I don't need a format right now. Thank you. So I didn't get an error. I didn't get an error. It's still not showing it, but I'm not getting an error. So it is entirely possible now that it's actually working. And we had everything right the whole time. And something was just hard caching it. Really want to spotlight. Environment map, maybe. So we can do some environment stuff. I guess I just want to just whatever random light is probably fine with me right now. Okay, we're going to. I know there was a snippet. Now that we're like, we're gonna do this here. Except that's with three.js. Use measure that. Okay. Your first scene. I'm assuming ambient light on canvas. And that Oh, it's a three.js thing. Do I need, I guess I don't need to actually import it. That feels surprising. Man, Prettier's just chugging. I don't understand why it's chugging so hard. Okay. Reload. Oh my goodness. So I think we had all of our URIs and everything right. It was just caching. Oh, that's frustrating. Look at that. Okay. We've been going a while. I'm not gonna muck around. I don't want to like destroy whatever cached thing it has now. So we're going to this is within actions, abstractions. Works for me. Oh, hey, use animations. Okay. Use animations, nodes, animations, actions. So, okay, that's what we got. So I should be able to do something like this. I'm not certain what. You're not going to help me out either. I'm thinking that we need to log out the actions and we will grab use effect is not defined. That's fine. Use effect. Okay. There we go. Ooh, how modular loading. Okay, so we've got actions. So we can how how can we make interaction easy? I mean, it would be nice to have like a button and stuff to do some of this. Animations. Not seeing it. This is a big list. And use animations. This doesn't really help us out anymore. Hook the abstracts animations. Events and interactions. Okay, so it does handle some on-click stuff. So what we could do, we've got a bunch of groups and we've got a mesh. I think I'm just going to do it on the root one. On click. And what we're going to do is JSX, yes. do a thing. Right now we'll log out something so we can confirm that it is working as expected. And we will, there we go. So it's on the model itself that we get it. Actions lists. Actions is a brain is starting to die here. Actions is an object, so we can do object dot keys actions const action list. And we can do actions. We want to pull a random one from there. And we've got a list of keys and action list. We want to math.random. That's going to give us a random number between like 0 and 1. And we want to then multiply that by the length. So that should give us a random number from 0 to the, with decimals, to the max of the this array. And then from there we can do parse int, and it will give us just the int. And now we should have a random action. Const random action equals this. Just to make sure that this is doing what we're expecting. Random action key. Const random action key equals this. So we log that out. Console.log random action key. And we can say random action .play. So if this is working as intended, every time we click it, it should do another random action. Roar to walk. So now it's falling. I wonder if we need to also stop. So we've got the use effect doing the walk right now. So it's roar to walk right now. And it's just going to keep looping it. So what we can do, I think you can chain together like animations. I really wish it would help us out a little here. Basic animations, animating with refs. If you want to get deeper in animations, check these out. I mean, do we really want to? Oh, interesting. So set active. Where's set active? I feel like some of these examples could use some context. So like, where are a bunch of these references coming from? So is like set active just like, I don't even see any mention of it. On click set active. Oh, use state. Okay. So I think maybe what we can do is we're doing a random action right now, but we can also do actions. I don't remember what it's called now. It's the walking one. That copy. Yeah, sure. And I think what that's going to do is it's going to play the first one and then play the second one. The second one being our walk. So every time we click, I'm hoping it's going to do that and then just keep looping on the walk. It looks like it. So there's a roar. And it actually looks like it's doing both. I think you can combine multiple too. Okay, this is a good one because fall should knock it over. Yeah, it's trying to do both of them at the same time. All right. Well, we can play around with that a little bit. I don't know that I want to. Like, I don't. It's a. Don't get me wrong. It's an FT model. I don't know that I need to. Um, I don't know that I want to use this for anything more than playing around with it. So I don't know that I want to go into the animations too much more. We know how they work. We see what they're doing. We finally got our model in there with textures, despite whatever caching thing was going on here. I think there's some Simulink or something going on. And I want to say that New Shell was doing like a trash, which wasn't getting rid of the Simulink. That feels like the only thing that makes sense in my mind. And we basically like tricked it by renaming the folders to get around that. So frustrating. We ran pretty long though. Is there anybody that is streaming right now that we might want to raid? You can switch back here. We don't really need to look at that anymore. Yeah, we'll see if there's anybody worth raiding, and we will call it a day here, I think. Does anybody have any suggestions? There's a couple people that are streaming that I'm following. No suggestions. I think we might try Chow Codes. Dealer's choice. Lucky me. So So it looks like Chalk Codes is doing data things today. I've watched them a few times. Yeah, we'll hit them up. We'll try it out here. So thanks everyone for stopping by here. Fun Friday. I would have liked this to go a lot smoother. This caching thing really got me, but what can you do? That's how programming goes, right, y'all? So next time, I think we're gonna keep playing around with this, maybe on and off a little bit, but we'll definitely be looking at continuing this more in the future. So thanks again for stopping by. Have a good Friday. Catch you all on the flip side.